Hi, everybody. This is Bill Young from Berlin Center United Methodist with our week 1, day 2 uh, on the adult Christian education class, the Gospel of John. Today we are focusing on John 2, verses 6 through 10. Okay, beginning with verse 6. Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." I'm going to read some of the commentary that is found on pages 4, 5, and 6 if you are following along in the one book, the Gospel of John study. Understanding the word. Recent archaeological works in and around Cana unearthed numerous ritual purification pools where the Jews would go to remove ceremonial uncleanliness. 6 stone water jars in our story were for holding just such purification water for ceremonial cleansing. The picture of the Jews in this region is that they were often devout and particular about keeping the laws regarding clean and unclean. This family for whom the wedding is held was certainly a Torah-observant family. We are told that each stone jar, stone because according to the Jewish thinking, it could not become unclean or polluted, could hold 20 to 30 gallons. And Jesus was about to turn all to wine. It may well be this story that got Jesus the reputation that he was a drunkard, as well as a friend of tax collectors and sinners, as found in Matthew chapter 11, verse 19. Whatever else you say about Jesus, he seems to have spent more time during the ministry feasting than fasting. And in this regard, he stood apart from the praxis of his cousin, John the Baptizer. The image of Jesus here is not of a killjoy, more nearly the life of the party, or at least the one who gives life to the party. Notice that the only ones in this story who know a miracle has happened are Jesus, his mother, the disciples, and the servants involved in filling the jars with water and then dipping the new wine out to take the toastmaster. Despite the fact that the miracles in this gospel are stupendous, the evangelist does not suggest that Jesus used miracles to wow people into the kingdom of God. He does not reveal some of his glory to us. He does reveal some of his glory to a select few in this story, but he does not make a big deal of the miracle or even make a pronouncement explaining it or taking credit. The impression all 4 Gospels give is that Jesus' main ministry was preaching and teaching, and he set out to various places for that purpose. But where a need arose, he was at this wedding. He was prepared to stay, to heal or help. This is presumably because Jesus knew that miracles were, at best, temporary solutions or cures, whereas the acceptance of the gospel message was the key to having everlasting life. Nothing happens in these stories by accident. And the climax where we hear, "But you have saved the best till now," it refers to only the best wine served last at this wedding party. But it is likely also reminds us that God, after a long line of prophets, priests, and kings, has finally sent his son to rescue the world. What he brings is the new wine of the gospel, the new wine of salvation, which is truly the best wine of all. And note that there is more than enough of it for all as well. More to the point, Jesus replaces old lifeless ceremonial water, which could do no more than cleanse the outside of a person, with new wine of the gospel, which he can make the heart glad. So let's take a look then at the questions for today's study. Why doesn't Jesus make more of a public display and explanation of this miracle? What does Jesus' turning of water into actual wine tell you about him? Why is the Toastmaster so surprised at the outcome of Jesus' action? Thank you for listening, and tune in tomorrow for tomorrow's study.